My name is Amanda TT Kamanda. That's who I identify as in my preferred name. And I come from Uganda. I'm 27 years old and I'm doing a master's degree in international development, social justice and sustainability at University of Bath. And my passion is trying to make our world a better place in terms of activism. I have been doing activism for 5 years now from my country, Uganda. I worked for an NGO called Transgender Equality Uganda. And I have been supporting the trans community in terms of human rights on all levels. I have also been at the United Nations in Geneva in terms of delivering an oral statement in protection of transgender rights. So the other thing about me is that I identify as trans feminine. I'm feminine in my expression. I'm feminine in how, my gender. I'm like, I identify as a trans woman. And what else? 27 years old. And yeah, that's it for now. I'm open for more questions.
How are you as a person if you're happy go lucky, or how unique you are as yourself? Who is Amanda in real life?
So Amanda in real life, you see, I look very social in terms of online on social media. I interact with people, but in reality I'm an introvert. I love being behind closed doors, singing to myself, reading a few articles here and now, writing a few things. I write like a sort of journal about my life. I was reflecting about my travel experiences, and sometimes I sit and write. It's one of the ways, like, to kind of reflect on myself. So I'm an introvert a bit, I'm closed off, but when you see me online, I will look like the talkative person, always responding to comments, having all these people that I reach out to. But in reality, away from the camera, I'm a bit an introvert behind closed doors. I'm not so much like of interactive.
Okay, thank you. Madame Brazil?
Yes. Hello. So my question will be, how long have you been interested in pageantry, and have you done your research from the past Miss Trans Globals?
Okay. So I was interested in pageantry like from ever since my adolescence, like around 15, 16. But the problem of being transgender is that you don't get a chance to participate in pageants because sometimes the rules always apply to discriminatory categories. Like they're like, it's only open for cisgender females, and for trans women we're not allowed to contest for even like pretty much of the pageants that happen in my country. So my country around in Uganda, we had Miss Pride. So Miss Pride is like a pageant that celebrates, Pride, but they always have to crown a Miss Pride of that year. And I remember the year was around 2014. In that year, they kind of, told people to contest, and we all wanted to, go for the Miss Pride thing, and I never made it through the top 10. And for me, it took an esteem thing about myself. Have you ever wanted to participate in a pride pageant, but you're not even included among the top 10? Like we were 13 that contested, and they removed 3 and they took the rest of the 10. And among the 3, I was among those 3. It took a toll effect on me, on how I perceived myself. I was like, am I beautiful? Am I pretty enough? I really felt bad about myself, about my esteem. So that was now 2014. Years later, I started doing activism, advocacy on all these things, reading, researching. And it takes a while through self-discovery and going through like changes as a person. And you're like, Yes, I was. Yes, I never made it to the top 10, but it doesn't define like that the people that in these pageants are the most beautiful, or you that didn't make it that you're ugly. So I had to rebuild my confidence and reclaim the way I saw beauty, even in terms of pageants. Because trust me, if they reject you back then, I was still young. I was, right now I'm 27. I was still, all these 23-year-old, you're trying to be the pretty one. So I started doing all the research. I saw that trans global. So this is the thing. The one of last year, I did apply for it. I sent in my first video and I wanted to contest, but the problem was I was in Uganda and I was scared of going viral because of my safety and security. The first Miss Trans Global of 2021, I submitted in my video and everything, and I even made it to the first. I received the email, congratulations, you've gone through the first round. Send us like a portrait image with like a crown or something. When I reached that stage, I pulled out because my safety, I was like, what if they put my photos? What if my family sees it? What if, because in our community, there's a lot of blackmail, there's a lot of jealousy. People can even sometimes, our own community members from the LGBT community can report you, they can out you out there. So I was scared of going viral because the fact that you're wearing makeup, you're wearing a wig, you're presenting as feminine, usually these are the first indicators they use to point us out in the community, in hate crime and stuff. So I had to pull out last year, and I was like, this year, I was waiting for that link. I was like, Miss Trans Global, when are they making out the call? When are they making out the call? Until I saw it came, I even prepared. I was even confused. I was like, should I go for Miss Trans Global UK? Because UK has two categories. There's Scotland and there's England. I was like, should I go for England and contest and make it through the Miss Trans Global UK? Or I should represent my country? But then something was like, represent your country, because in Uganda, pretty much even the girls themselves that are there, they're going through the same stage as me. Some are questioning their beauty standards. Am I beautiful enough to contest? I'm not going to lie to you. When you're researching about the beauty pageants, people have this belief, we're dealing with colorism. I'm a dark-skinned girl, so I'm a black girl. What are the chances of me being among, the short list in a beauty pageant, comparing me to Asian beauty standards or Eurocentric beauty standards? But I was like, you know what? I'm going to represent my country, and I'm going to go for that pageant. I'm sorry for talking for like a long time, but yeah.
Oh no, that was lovely. You definitely gave us an insight on a little bit about yourself dealing with Miss Trans Global. I'm glad that you were able to take a look at it last year, and moving forward, every single judge on the panel will want to see all the contestants do the best they can do. Now, because it's not a physical pageant as of yet, and it is virtual, do you think you will have a team that will be able to help you execute every category that you need to be competing in to be able to submit for judging? The reason why I ask you that, as a judge, we do not want any contestant to get discouraged or think that she may not have a team. And when I mean a team, I mean someone who can video you or take pictures, someone who's a part of your support team that will be able to encourage you to continue the contest even when you may doubt yourself in this contest.
So at my university, I'm part of the LGBTI students club. I even have a leadership position as a campaign officer, and they're really being supportive. So I've even been doing photo shoots. We did like a recent one for the Transgender Day of Visibility, and they have really been supportive. And I feel even when I tell them about the idea of a beauty pageant, they are there for me, because it's a students club that supports LGBTI people at university. They have this sort of like a support group for wellness in case you're dealing with depression, for any ideas, and me even being on the leadership team, it's also like another, should I say, advantage when I need access to maybe things like I need someone to help me with a few things, because sometimes I struggle with makeup. I like, please someone help me with makeup, or someone help me get a photographer, or they're always there for me.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss J.
Would you be able to ask or make them vouch to support you with your journey with here at Miss Trans Global, just in case?
So for the commitment, so, because the fact that I'm studying in the same school, I'm part of the club. We have weekly club meetings, so we always meet each other, and they're always open to supporting anything to do with, like, LGBT rights, trans rights, bisexual, or like the entire spectrum. And they're open to ideas, because the idea of a photo shoot for visibility was my idea, and they opened up to embrace it, and they supported me throughout. We did, it's even on our Instagram, like back LGBT university thing, the photo shoot was there, we put it. It's like they're there for me, honestly, and I'm sure they'll be thrilled when they hear this.
My next question is, it's similar to the question of Miss Brazil. So do you think with all the master's studies, or the load in your master's studies, do you think you would be able to sustain everything during the pageant? Because, if you have seen Miss Trans Global here, it's a very tedious task to do because there are assignments along the way. So do you think you'd be able to sustain this study?
So the thing is, right now we are going to break off for summer holidays. Summer holidays will be breaking off in June, and for the summer. So for the summer, I'll have enough time to actually to participate in all, pretty much, like, because I don't have classes in the summer. My last classes will be in May, and we're right now in April. So at least the fact that it's even online, it's not so much of going to be like a tedious sort of thing. But even after, starting from the 1st of June, in the summer, July, August, schools will be on break, summer break, and from summer break, it will be the time for me to, start building more on my Miss Trans Global career, do maybe more photo shoots, because at that time for the masters will be just required to do like internship, and I've already gotten an internship that is part-time, so which means I will have, because mainly usually the stressing part is the school bit, because school has work, the assignments, and blah blah blah. But from the summer holidays and the rest of the year, it's okay.
Have you already announced your participation to this so-called support group?
No, I didn't want to tell them until I was selected. So I was like, I first kept it. I was like, let me first wait until I receive the news, like official news, then I can finally tell them.
Yes. Speaking of accepting it, if you were selected and accepted the title Miss Uganda, how do you think you'll be able to make a change for your country and its trans community living in UK?
Okay, so I was thinking in my like, an idea came to me. I was thinking of opening up a Miss Trans Global Uganda chapter. I've seen the Nigeria chapter is active. I have seen, like, other countries, even in Africa, there's Miss Pinty who was representing Swaziland. Then they call it Eswatini right now. Ghana, like other African countries are opening up Miss Trans Global chapters, but the Ugandan one, there's a gap there, right? So I was thinking of opening up a Miss Trans Global, chapter for Uganda, and if I can fundraise some resources and send to my trans girls to begin doing things like photo shoots to enhance femininity. The problem that I identified with our own community, even like by what I mean by our own community, I mean the whole LGBT community as a spectrum, is people have this, we call it femphobia or feminophobia. They hate people that are feminine, and masculinity is seen as the desirable. Anything that is masculine, any man, six packs, growing beards, those are the people that they're cherishing. People that are on the, that's the whole obsession with men that are on the down low, with people that are closeted, because people love the whole masculinity thing, and people that are feminine are shamed. Oh, you people, yes, this. So I want to create a sort of like a Miss Trans Global like visibility of Uganda that embraces femininity and adds an attractiveness to it. We are always shamed for being feminine. You're the bad ones. You're that. We even always hear those things that, if I'd wanted, I would have dated a woman. Why must you people be feminine? Those are the same things they tell us. So I want to open up a Miss Trans Global chapter in Uganda that it makes people to be comfortable and enhance their, how they feel about their own femininity, because we're already shamed for it. And the best thing we can do right now is to make people comfortable in loving themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss J.
So we're still in the phase of selecting you for the Miss Uganda title. This is just an example. If you were chosen as Miss Trans Global, it entails a lot of time, hard work, and patience to represent the whole community. Do you think you would be able to sustain it, just in case? Because it's going to be, there's going to be a big door that's going to be open for you. And it's not just, a title or a crown. There is a responsibility that goes along with it for 1 year. Now, my question is, would you be able to sustain again this, just in case, if you get chosen as Miss Trans Global?
So I feel like I can take on the role for Miss Trans Global Uganda, because I'm even trying to rebuild my life in the UK in terms of trying to reframe on who I can be as a person. And given the fact that now I've moved to a new country, and pretty much after my degree, what happens next? Because a degree is like at the end of it, a piece of paper. Yes, you got your piece of paper, what next? So adding like a Miss Trans Global thing is a way to kind of represent the country in a way that, yes, maybe I went to school, but at the end of it all, I'm able to still contribute to the wellness of the community in terms of empowering the trans girls, and say, yeah, this person did this, they came to school, they did this, but then beyond studies, they are also doing something for the community. It's one thing me being here in the UK, just studying or doing something else, but it's also another thing to be proud of who you are, in embracing who you are, to use that opportunity to empower other people, and use that whole 1 year commitment in creating new projects, creating new opportunities. Like I said, I'll be opening up the chapter in Uganda. And in case I win the overall international global, title, then that's also another opportunity to add more allies to, to work with. And in the sector that I'm in, which is international development, there are many people that would be looking for innovative ideas to advocate for our rights. It's always the same standard of workshops, HIV campaigns. We need a fresh touch to advocacy, and I feel beauty pageants are ways in which we can use advocacy for trans people to be more visible. We don't need we don't need to always stick to the old fashion things. We sit in workshops, we do, you've seen how we've always done community things of advocacy, the traditional sense of sitting and what. And in you know, the word out there, they're using, for example, you've seen how pageants are being used to promote other things like Miss Environment something, Miss Tourism something, Miss something something. They attach a cause to it. So if I can use this opportunity to attach a cause of trans rights in representing the community, then I'm willing to take on the responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you. It's nice to hear that. I have another question. Just you know, since you're living in UK, okay,
Yeah.
so you might as well know what's going on about so many issues of transgender. And for example, gender dysphoria is no longer recognized as mental health condition in UK, and is now described as a sexual health condition by World Health Organization. And also in early 2000, the guidelines of the National Health Service, or NHS in UK, states that medical referrals for trans patients should be done directly to gender identity clinics, so that trans patients get the necessary health care and assessment that are needed. So despite these guidelines, some trans patients or people with gender identity issues were wrongfully sent to mental health services, no, instead of gender identity clinics. And so, with you as a trans woman yourself, how would you advocate for the full implementation of this protocol, aside from bringing it up in the social media?
So moving forward on this issue, I would think that we have opportunities, for example, that there's what we call the trans pride. It usually happens sometime. I think the trans people come together and march. Since I'm new in the UK, I don't know if the date is fixed or it always rotates, but it's always around the summer. And I have seen trans pride, like people writing their messages and protesting on the streets and demanding, like, you know, the policy makers hear us out on this, hear out on, you know, very, very many specific issues. Others are talking about bathrooms, others are talking about, you know. So the issue on mental health would be engaging with the policy makers that pass, you know, these sorts of unfavorable laws that are not inclusive for trans people, and connecting towards, you know, working with them. So we can use, for example, NGOs that are already working in the field of mental health. And some of the NGOs that have identified, there's a Black Trans Foundation. I have seen them, and I've not really like worked with them so far. I've just been seeing the work they've been doing. There's We Exist London, Queer Trans People of Color Project. All these are social media related organizations that have been saying. But I'm thinking that one way would be to, as Miss Trans Global, to write out like a policy brief. A policy brief would mean identifying the problem, that we've seen that this is mental health, that mental trans people are being referred to as mentally insane instead of being supported through the gender identity clinics, and we identify the ways forward in which this issue can be mitigated. So we come up with what we call a brief. It's what we call a policy brief. We send it to those organizations, and we do like what we call a workshop to fine touch it. What does that mean? We consult trans people for more referencing, for more evidence, for more, you know, gathering more support for it. And afterwards, those organizations, because I believe organizations always have links to people in, you know, government, like the ministries, the relevant stakeholders, they can say, we did a consultation with the trans community, this was the issue we identified, and these were the endorsements we got, please work on this. And from there, we can always do like an accountability. We sent this, what has been done? And we keep pushing, you know, for the government. If the policymakers, if we send it to the policymakers and they don't take our issue serious, then for us we upgrade, we take it to another level. If it means going to the UN or to the EU Parliament, or, you know, to a higher rights level to shame the UK government, we do it.
Thank you. Ms. Brazil?
Okay. If you were to be chosen to represent the entire trans community of Uganda, why should it be you?
Well, why should it be me? It should be me because I feel like I do have what it takes to be the next Miss Trans Global, because even like, okay, if I was to break down my profile, I mean, one, I have service for the community. I've been doing advocacy for 5 years now. I have supported people nationally, even in Uganda itself, on the grassroots, because people have seen me walk this journey from where I started out like a small girl, reaching out to communities, being a peer educator. I just had a peer educator role, and the fact that I have the passion to serve the community and I have been doing it for 5 years now, it means I have a relentless commitment to it. And I have even upgraded along the journey, that I've even put it in an academic career perspective, that I'm doing international development, which means I care about developing the community, my country, whether they put it in whatever sort of lens. It's still something that shows that it's in line with my career. And another thing to do about it, it's because of my identity. I'm proud to be transgender, and I'm okay with putting myself out there to, you know, to forward this agenda of trans rights advocacy, Miss Trans Global, having to contest for my country, because I feel like many other trans girls from my country, they need that spark. They need that person they can look at. They need that pioneer person that is going to, you know, show them that, like, a setting of a precedent, like setting like a record of, wow, with the first Miss Trans Global Uganda representing, you know, who is like, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm very influential when it comes at least to the trans community in my country. Here in the UK, no one might know me, or internationally, no one might know me. But at least in my country, Uganda, when you try to ask around for like trans people, and do you know Amanda? Oh, I've built a record, at least in my country. That one, it's not bragging, it's showing that it's an indicator of a person that has actualized in doing something for the community. So at least I feel my work and things for the things I've done in Uganda can speak for themselves. Even when you Google my name, everything I've done to do with my country and supporting the trans community will come.
Say you were to represent Uganda, you go off and you don't quite take the title you want for the international level. How important is it not only to accept all the responsibility and obligations and reign with grace? How important is it to be a graceful loser?
I hope I heard you well, because I'm breaking, but I'll answer according to what I heard. And for me, when I contest even on international level, it's a way of, you know, trying to build my experience in should I say renowned beauty pageants, because the one that I never really made it among the top 10 in Uganda was just, you know, on a national level, just at a small micro level. But this one is big. But sometimes with any competition, it's not only Miss Trans Global, it can be any other, you know, it can be a radio talk show or something competition. It's not about the winning in its sense, but it's what you learn on the journey along that competition, because every time in the competition it teaches you something. So for example, in this Miss Trans Global, the things I might learn along, you know, the various categories might be helping me in terms of improving my own gender, you know, expressions, or even my own fashion sense. Sometimes I don't even know what to wear, or I dress horribly, but maybe through these ways it could help me even improve my fashion sense. It could even help me learn to embrace my you know, my dress code, like my feminine dress code. Where I come from, I used to be pretty much sometimes in male clothes, because in Uganda you'd understand my context. And when I moved here, I can be myself, but sometimes it still doesn't sink in. I'm like, I'm in the UK, I can wear a dress and yeah, it's okay. But there's still more trans people in the UK who also are not comfortable. I mean, I don't want to say comfortable, who may not have that privilege of, fear of other reasons to dress how they prefer or something. But through a competition like this, you learn to embrace yourself openwardly, like loving your body. Oh, if I can dress like this, I look good. So the pageant teaches you also more about self-love and acceptance. Even if you don't make it to, I don't know, Miss Trans Global Diamond or Miss Trans Global Sapphire, as long as you learn something on the journey, improving your public speaking, improving your aesthetics on how you look and you present and how you dress, you learn many things. Thank you.
What was your what are you studying again? International development,
social justice and sustainability.
Oh, okay.